boy howdy, are we on the road to the Royal Rumble. Matches keep getting confirmed week after week, and last night at SmackDown in a little place called Jacksonville, we even had some inter-promotional conflict, kinda, because AEW were just down the road doing a press conference, and then over here, WWE was indeed doing their big Tuesday night show. I mean, it was a coincidence, kinda, but it was still really badass. If you did miss all the stuff with All Elite Wrestling 2, Chris Jericho was signed over there, but that does mean he wasn't on SmackDown Live. There were no rumors that he was going to be. I just wanted to tie that in. My name is Simon Miller. It's WhatCulture Wrestling. Let's up those downs for SmackDown. The show started with Daniel Bryan telling us that AJ Styles was as bad as concessions and as bad as merchandise. True story. It was actually quite cool because as soon as SmackDown started, the camera just zoomed into the arena foyer and there was the WWE champion saying the only reason we eat a bunch of crap and the only reason we buy merchandise is to fill a void in our stomachs. He also then threw a hot dog at a fan. Also want to point out, WWE, you probably want to hire a new merch guy, because when Bryan went to ask this dude to get him a Yes Movement t-shirt, and of course they don't exist anymore because Daniel Bryan stopped selling them to help the environment, blah blah blah, you know all of that. The merch dude just went, he didn't say anything. You just go, no sir, we don't have any of those in stock. You were bad at your job. Bryan eventually made his way out in front of the crowd, and the highlight here was he was going around calling individual people individual names, including pointing at one fan and going, impotent. And do you know what the guy replied to that? No, I am not. Thou doth protest too much, I say. That's a joke. I realize you're not impotent. Daniel's tirade was stopped when he got to the ringside area and he was jumped by R-Truth of all people. But given they did have a match scheduled for this evening, we segued straight into it. And I tell you, this was a very nice put together segment. And yes, it felt utterly different to what we usually see. That's why this smile is etched upon this face. Whoever thought we'd see Bryan versus Truth either? I didn't. It didn't last long, and while Truth did have some momentum, the story here was once Daniel Bryan had composed himself, he got back into the match and proved why he is the WWE champion. He rammed that knee into R-Truth's face and he walked away the victor, probably getting mad about popcorn or something. He looked like a damn confident champ until, again, AJ Styles then started to beat him up, also out of nowhere, and he had to flee to the backstage area, because what else could he have done? AJ Styles, the real AJ Styles, was so crazy, when he had a chair, he even threatened to hit some referees that were only out there to try and break the damn thing up. You gotta calm down, AJ Styles. You turned it into Samoa Joe. You go back to then, you psycho. All enjoyable this, and it flew by like a fairy. Tinkerbell. It was Andrade Cien Almas and Samoa Joe taking on Rey Mysterio and Mustafa Ali after this, and you don't even need me to tell you that it was good. Of course it was good. How the hell would it not have been good? But I do want to say this as a little caveat. If we are going to start sticking these guys together as teams, can't they be real teams and go after the tag titles and all of that? Because that division, as we're going to get to, is kind of a bit flibbly-flobbly at the moment. What are we doing here? If you're going to use them. Start popping up, make the whole damn show better. But of course, again, the match itself, brilliant. Go watch it up. It was super fast-paced and smoother than my ass, and just a great showcase of how talented these guys are. As you can imagine, they busted some moves out that were absolutely ridiculous. But the point of it, I believe, was to finally light a fire under Andrade Cien Almas' bottom, because not only did he reverse a 619 at one point, but he turned it into the Hammerlock DDT, and he walked away with not only the win in the tag team match, but he got the victory, but he did it over one Rey Mysterio. Anyone else smell a feud? Damn well hope so, because if you don't, that probably means I'm about to die. Don't forget me. Give it a down. Another up now, because for a while I've said we've got to do something a little bit different with these backstage promos, aside from having Wrestler X stood in front of the camera going, this is what I'm going to do tonight. Please watch it. That's what I'm here to do. Pointless. Here, though, Carmella was saying that she's going to win the triple threat match against Becky Lynch and Charlotte later on, but it was more like a UFC interview. She was sat down, the lighting was a little bit different, she was looking off camera as if she was being interviewed, and it worked so much better. Then the Usos also promised us that they were going to beat the Bar later for the tag team championships, and clearly they'd paid a cameraman to crouch down like a crab and shoot upwards, because that was the footage that we got. It was literally them walking down a corridor as the camera shot upwards. However, this does have to get it down, because it was here when I realized I had to get the Usos versus the Bar again. Jeez. All the Shane McMahon and the Miz stuff went back to being an oddity of weirdness this week. No, that means down. Miz found Shane backstage, and after seeing what the Usos had to say, he was baffled, he was miffed, or mizzed, that it wasn't Shane McMahon and the Miz going after the belts instead. And I have the answers, Miz. It's because so far you and Shane have done absolutely nothing as a team. I mean, you barely walked to the ring together, and McMahon rightfully pointed that out and said, that's not how we do things here on SmackDown Live. We've got to earn it. Miz then went on about outfits, which allowed Shane to sneak away again. And if you think it's the end of everything to do with the world's greatest tag team, you are mistaken, but we'll get to it later. I don't like doing this either because it upsets me and it makes my heart cry. I can feel tears coming from it right now. But Rusev and Nakamura, everything they did, down. Now don't get me wrong, I like that they're feuding and I really like their matches, but what I don't like is the booking. Clearly everything that happened with Lana last week had to be addressed, but that meant sending Rusev to the ring to cut a really serious and sad promo, and that's not Rusev. I've seen Rusev on social media, he's hilarious, he's an idiot, and I mean that as a huge compliment. Let him be that guy while also being a badass in the ring, and I tell you, you've got something special and you've got something unique. Here, his instructions were clearly act like the most traditional and stereotypical wrestler ever, which he did, and he did it as well as he could, but that ain't no fun. It was great that when we cut to Nakamura backstage, he was in the production truck because, as always, if it looks different, my eyes light up like stars, and obviously he was there to replay the footage from last week's SmackDown when Lana did get crushed to say, look, wasn't my fault, bro. It was you. You can see it right now. You fell on her. You should be ashamed of yourself. That pissed Ruru off something fierce and he marched to find Shinsuke, but it didn't really work out too well. Nakamura jumped him, and eventually, even though he was already like, oh, I can't believe it, he got kneed in the face, which means the heel right now has the upper hand. What is going to happen? As a quick aside, I don't think the US Championship was even mentioned once here. That ain't great, WWE. Please at least try to make it, well, somewhat important. Another one of these sit-down interviews with Becky Lynch, and again, I like it. It felt good, it can get an up, but just as a small caveat, don't now overdo them, WWE, because you'll run them into the ground too. And we also saw the Mean Gene Okerlund tribute video again. That thing is just, well, again, it kind of pulls at your emotions. It sucks, but great at the same time. Right, what is going on? The Usos versus the Bar for what must be the 72,601st time. I don't get why we keep going back to the well with this. So it gets a down, and it maybe even get a brown down, but it doesn't because I've thought about it and I'm retracting that, but it still gets it down. A quick aside too, because I like that WWE made sure to include the Mandy Rose storyline into this. I mean, I'm not particularly enthused about that narrative entirely, but I like it when tales come together. It creates for a more interesting show because you're like, oh, that went here, that went there. It's like a snake. It does this. She came out wearing that towel again saying, oh, Jimmy, where's my gold bikini and where's my gold pants? And Jimmy was all like, what are you talking about? And because he was distracted, Jay got slammed with a Dominator, which means still your tag team champions are the Bar. Now I've said that, I can't even remember if the tag titles were on the line. It's early, I'm 99% sure they were. I'm sorry, I need to get some sleep. It wasn't over though, because then The Miz arrived and he challenged Sheamus and Cesaro to a title match at the Royal Rumble, and after getting slammed by a bro kick, they accepted, because of course they did. These two schmerals haven't even had a match, but I bet you this, I bet you they win. Don't think this gets changed later on either. When Shane McMahon does find out, he just goes, well, I know what I said earlier, and I know I reiterated that we should earn this, but screw it, you went out there and got it done. Let's just go and have it. So that's on the match for the Royal Rumble. The Miz and Shane McMahon taking on the Bar for the titles. You know what's going to happen. You know it. Search your feelings. You know it to be true. A handful of elements back to back then. Naomi attacked Mandy Rose, because of obvious reasons, but even more so because she had taken off the towel and look, she was wearing her ring gear, so she was just being an asshole, but she forgot that her best mate is Sonya Deville, and eventually the heels got the upper hand before Jimmy ran in and went, yo, everyone calm down. What the hell is going on? My career is going into the floor, all because of you people fighting around me. Charlotte completed the trio of those sit-down interviews, but once again it was all right, and Bryan cut such a terrific promo by shouting and going all crazy-eyed, I'm starting to think that this is actually who Daniel Bryan has become. Everything I just said, getting up. Oh yeah, also Daniel Bryan promised to be the WWE Champion forever. Now I respect his ambition, but what a claim that is to make, although if you do it, Daniel Bryan, what we get in the opening of WWE videos when he goes then, now, forever, that can be a reference to you. I'd like that. Which brings us to the main event, the triple threat match to determine who would become the #1 contender for Asuka's championship. Getting it up. I know this will annoy some, but it became quite obvious why Carmella had been added into this as if from nowhere, and it's because WWE had looked at the situation and gone, well, we can't have Becky lose, and we can't have Charlotte lose, we need someone to lose. All right, we can bring Mella in, and she can lose. Don't shoot the messenger. But that was clearly what was happening here. So after Lynch had locked in the disarmer, Carmella did indeed tap, meaning Charlotte, she feels like she's been screwed. She wasn't involved in the finish. At the Rumble, it will be Becky Lynch, it will be Asuka, and they'll be fighting for the SmackDown Women's Championship. We also had a face-off between those two at the end of the show, but the question now is, what are we going to do? How does Charlotte fit into the plans? Does she win the Royal Rumble? Are we only putting Becky Lynch against Asuka now so that Lynch can lose and somehow get involved in a triple threat match with Ronda Rousey and Charlotte to move into WrestleMania? And what does this mean for Carmella's number 30 spot? That's kind of the question I'm worried about the least, but it's still one I want to ask. So many things I want to know, but as of right now can't, because WWE have kept their cards close to their chest. And when you do that, wrestling is better because it keeps me on my toes like this. And see, when I do that, I go outside of the camera and I'm a little bit taller, bring it back down to earth. End of SmackDown, which was a good show, by the way. It was a good show. It was like the usual quality you expect, but also with some new sprinklings on top. Made it feel fresh. 2 thumbs up. Yeah, don't forget to leave a comment below and let us know what you thought about last night's episode of SmackDown. Like, share, and subscribe. Head on over to WhatCulture.com and read yourself some articles. Then go back over here and you follow WhatCulture on Twitter and WhatCulture WWE. And while you're already here, you're already laid down watching this on your phone, tablet, computer, TV, whatever, go and watch some other WhatCulture wrestling videos. My name is Simon from WhatCulture. Thank you very much for watching me. Hope you're having a great 2019. Don't forget the Royal Rumble is coming up. Don't forget to go check out all the AEW stuff, because I tell you, it's exciting. If you're old like me, it'll give you WCW vibes, and there ain't nothing wrong with that. If nothing else, I'll see you soon.